Good evening and welcome to this week in review. Tonight's stories include Lions 29th Annual Charter Night, presentation to the Calder Healthcare Centre, preschool closing. These stories plus community events, the BBS Playbill, Off the Rack and more coming up after this.
What if you lived in a home on an island you couldn't leave, with limited amounts of food and safe drinking water? It would be very important to use only what you need. Well, it doesn't matter where your home is, because we all live on an island we can't leave.
On Saturday, May the 26th, the Burgeo Lions Club held its 29th Annual Charter Night. Past President Ron Green and MC for the evening began the festivities with singing of O Canada. Lion Roger Ann did the toast for Lions International. Lion Guy Ann toasted the ladies, and everyone joined in repeating the Lions toast and the Lions invocation. A moment of silence was observed for the deceased Lions and Lioness. Jim Marsden blessed the hot roast beef meal. Lion Brad Dumford introduced the Ed table guests.
Next to them is Mary Ann's wife, Ethel. Then we got District Governor Wayne Strickland. Next to District Governor Wayne is Lions President Ron Green and his wife Shirley. Next to Shirley is Lions Past President Jim Marsden and his wife Edith. And beside Edith, we got the incoming president for the Lioness, Ruth Tucker, and her husband Jim. And next to Jim, we got our incoming president, Lion Roger Ann, and his wife Una. And besides Una, we got the Lion Secretary Norm Strickland and his wife Eileen.
Lion George Dominy from Porter Bass entertained the guests with jokes about some of his life experiences. Mayor Ann brought greetings from the town and reminded the Lions and their guests about getting involved in municipal politics. The guest speaker for the evening was District Governor Wayne Strickland. King Lion Ron presented the Lions year-in report. Lioness President Edith congratulated King Lion Ron on a successful year. District Governor Wayne held the installation of officers for the upcoming year. Then it was time for the presentation of awards. Lion Max Billard presented Jim Marsden with an appreciation plaque for his fundraising efforts on behalf of the Lions Club. Lion George Dominy presented the Burgeo Lions Club with a New Horizons Award for their donations of $1,100 for diabetes awareness. Strickland was presented with a pin by the District Governor for his work as Secretary for the Lions Club. Fred Sims, Jim Marsden, and Leonard Buckland were presented with their 25-year Monarch pin. 20-year Monarch pins were given to Roy Fudge and George Sutton. Max Billard, Max Strickland, Ron Green, Norm Strickland, Roger Ann, and Mike Calder were awarded their 10-year pin. Brad Dumford and Norm Strickland were given life membership certificates by the Lions Foundation of Canada. The best award was left for last. The Lion of the Year award was presented by King Lion Ron Green.
A difficult job on my part. I've got to name one lion as Lion of the Year. I'm compelled to do that. I wish I could name 4 or 5. Any of these members that I named out is capable of being Lion of the Year. But I can only name one. And as far as that goes, any Lions member that's been here all year is capable of being Lion of the Year. I wish I could name, like I say, 4 or 5, or probably everybody. But before I name the Lion of the Year, I'd like to thank everybody, every Lions member that was chairman of the committee, because everybody done an excellent job. And for that, I thank you very much. And now for the Lion of the Year. I'm not going to get here and name off anything that this Lions member has done. Because when I call his name, we'll all know that the dedication that this member has to lions, to lions or lioness or whatever. So my lion of the year is Lion Max Bellow.
I'd like to thank everybody that, I know that sometimes the family get a little bit rowdy, but like I said, I could really want to come and play a bit, but I couldn't be, so I said I'm going to join you. So thank you.
The supper concluded with return thanks by incoming Lioness President Ruth Tucker. Congratulations to all Lions who received awards. On Monday of this week, we were invited to the Calder Healthcare Centre for a presentation. Sheila Oxford, chairperson of the Gift Shop Volunteers, made the presentation to Laurie Porter.
The Gift Shop Volunteers, I am very pleased to be making our second donation to the Calder's Healthcare Centre. I would especially like to thank Mary Pink for purchasing all this, for purchasing all of these items. We would like to thank everyone for their continuously support in the past, and we would look forward for making more donations like this in the future. Thank you everybody, for all our volunteers for coming out tonight. It gives me a great pleasure.
On behalf of the residents and staff and the long-term care unit, I'd like to thank all volunteers for their generous donation. Certainly a beautiful addition. And I'd like to thank the volunteers to continue to provide us with all these services. And without them, we would have a great loss. So I'd like to thank you once again. Thank you.
This donation was made to the Calder Healthcare Long-Term Care Unit and was made possible by the proceeds made in the gift shop. The approximate value was $500. The donation included 6 sets of Corelle dishes, 26 drinking glasses, 24 wine glasses, 24 dessert bowls, 3 sets of sugar and cream, 5 tablecloths, 5 candle holders, and a box of candles. These items will be used for special occasions such as Christmas, Mother's Day, and Easter, etc. We congratulate the gift shop volunteers for their generous donation and the support to the residents of the Calder Healthcare Centre. We wish them continued success with their gift shop. Stay tuned for more of This Week in Review coming up after this.
The earth can satisfy our needs, but not satisfy our greed. So please, use only what you need. It's not like we can go shopping somewhere else.
On Tuesday of this week, the preschool program held their closing ceremonies. These children have been going to preschool since October. At the year-end celebrations, parents gathered together to help celebrate the achievements of their children. The children presented I Want to Be.
I want to be a doctor and help sick people get well through disease attack themselves. I want to be a firefighter who can put out fire. I will work hard to save lives and never seem to tire. I want to be a firefighter who can put out fires. I will work hard to save lives, and I'll never see retire. Mother bear really sharks are carried out the wall, sitting on persons between the dresser and each fall. To be a firefighter that could put out a fire, or work hard to save lives, more than a lifetime. The doctor was to kill that attack the human cell.
They also recited nursery rhymes. The preschool coordinators, Michelle Mercer and Amanda Warren, presented the children with certificates of participation for taking part in the preschool program. Presentations were also made to members of the preschool committee for volunteering their service. We thank Roger Ann for his video. On Wednesday of this week, we spoke to the new CEO of the Western Healthcare Corporation. Today in our studio, we have with us the new CEO of the Western Healthcare Corporation, Jim Wolstenholme. Welcome to our studio.
Thank you very much, Marie.
And welcome to Burgeo.
Yeah, this is my second time to Burgeo, and I'm
Oh,
glad
is
to
it?
be back here.
Oh,
Yes.
good. Okay. So what do you think so far? You've had a chance to see a little bit, so...
Well, I've been with the corporation now for just over a year, so
Okay.
I'm getting a good feel for things, and I find Burgeo a particularly attractive place to come. It's a beautiful little community, but of course I come here for work.
Okay, yes. So what's the nature of your visit?
Well, the main reason I'm down this time was yesterday I met with the District Advisory Committee, and today I'm going to Ramia to meet with the Health Services Committee.
Okay.
They have a few issues that they'd like to discuss.
Okay, so just as your new role, you're just kind of getting a feel for the problems or whatever that people may have.
It is important to discuss the concerns and issues that people in the region have, and there are a couple issues concerning the people in Ramia right now.
Yes. Now we understand that Rose Staples Paint has a new position.
That's right. Rose is the first Vice President of Rural and Primary Care for Western Healthcare Corporation. It's a new position we just created.
Okay, so how would this position affect Burgeo, or?
Well, she'll be the person on our senior executive team who's expected to know everything about rural services in the region. So she'll be the person to whom the site manager here reports. Similarly, the site managers in Bonne Bay, Port Saunders, and Port aux Basques will report to Rose.
Okay, so if we got a problem at this hospital, the site manager will phone Rose and
That's correct.
discuss it
Yeah.
or set up a meeting.
And even more importantly than that, up until now, these small sites have not been well represented at the major sort of decision-making level in the corporation.
Okay.
Because the site managers have not been vice presidents. So that means that when we have our weekly senior executive meetings, there's been no one there who understands the issues associated with the rural sites.
Okay.
So this will change that. This new VP will attend those meetings weekly
Okay.
and also attend the monthly board meetings. And again, at the board meetings, we haven't had anyone other than the board members from the various areas who are in touch with what's going on in the rural part of the region.
Okay, so this position actually is definitely going to be a good thing.
I think very definitely, yeah. I think it'll be a way in which we'll understand better the needs of the rural areas in terms of health services. It'll be a way in which we make sure that we're responding to those needs more effectively. I think it can only be good for the rural part of the region.
Okay. Now, Rose's position at the hospital, is that going to be filled or is it going to be left vacant?
Well, Lori Porter's been doing it on an acting basis, and
Yes.
in fact, just yesterday we confirmed Lori as the permanent appointment to that position.
Okay. Okay. So now, was Lori doing other jobs as well, or was she just in Rose's position acting?
She was acting in Rose's position. My understanding was that her regular duties were being assumed by somebody else.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's something that needs to be addressed now that she's confirmed in the position. Someone else will have to be assigned on a permanent basis the responsibilities that she performed.
Okay. So is there any other changes that will be coming about now?
Well, I think that's as far as organizational change goes, that's it. What I hope it will lead to, though, is actually improved services in places like Burgeo. One good example would be that we haven't as yet been able to provide any sort of visiting physiotherapy service to Burgeo, whereas in some of the other smaller sites that has been the case. So my hope through this type of change is that those services will become more fairly distributed across the region.
Okay.
So I would think that there'd be some of those types of benefits for
Okay.
this facility.
Okay. So with this new position, we can only hope for good things to happen at the Calder Healthcare Centre.
I'm hopeful.
Okay.
Yes.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Well, I guess just one point. There's a very interesting project, of course, just initiated in this area, the ITC project.
Yes, BBS, ITC, yeah.
Intended to improve communications along this part of the South Coast for a variety of programs, including healthcare. And we think that's going to be of tremendous benefit to Ramia, Grey River, Francois, and Grand Brit.
Yeah.
In fact, it should mean that that people will have to travel less for service, because using technology, we'll be able to take service to them. I think the future is really tremendous with respect to using technology more effectively to do that sort of thing.
It's a pretty exciting project, actually. It's kind of, especially when you don't know the technical side of it and they start telling you what they're going to do, is kind of like mind-boggling, actually.
It is, yeah.
But anyway, we're so glad that you dropped by.
Thank you.
And feel free to drop by any time that you're in town.
I'll
We're
look
glad
forward
see
to
you.
doing it again, Marie.
Okay,
Thanks so much.
Okay. On Friday of this week, we were invited to the town hall for a presentation by our MHA, Calvin Parsons.
Good day. It's a pleasure to be here in Burgeo again and to report to the citizens and to Mayor Han and the councillors who are present here that regarding the situation and the status of the water quality problem. Anybody who's been listening through the province, of course, is aware that many communities in the province and across the country, indeed, are having problems with water quality. And it's been an issue here for some time, and we've been trying to find a proper solution. We've also engaged an engineer who's been on the go for some time down to Caesar, Atlantic Engineering Consultants. He has prepared a report which has now been submitted to government. It's quite an extensive thing, and it's being analyzed as we speak, actually. But Mr. DeCesar did say in his report, and I quote from his summary at one point where he makes a comment, and I'd just like to state it for the citizens. He says, the quality of Burgio's municipal water has proven to be inadequate for consumption and everyday use. The town currently utilizes pH adjustment and gas chlorination as its only means of water treatment. With water quality problems, such as the highest THM levels in this province, extremely high dissolved color, and a very acidic raw water, it is clearly evident that the existing water treatment methods are insufficient to provide a potable water that meets or exceeds the Canadian standards. So that's the problem we had. The question, of course, is what are the solutions and what do they cost? There's two problems in Burgeo that were identified by Mr. DeCesar, one being water quality, the second one being water usage. In addition to solving the quality problems, we have a problem of usage that we certainly don't have all the answers to today. But Burgeo, according to Mr. DeCesar and his examinations, uses twice as much water approximately as they need to use. And the principal reason for it is because people run their water, especially in the wintertime, to keep it from freezing. So tackling the first problem of the quality is one thing, and obviously council and government are going to have to continue to try to deal with the usage issue. Because once you do have good, clean, drinkable water, the question then is, why waste it? Because it costs money to produce that level of good quality water. But that's an issue for another day in terms of education and water meters or whatever else that'll have to be examined. But I'm pleased to say today and be here on behalf of Oliver Langdon, the Minister of Municipal and Provincial Affairs, and Bill Matthews, the federal MP for this area, that we do, in fact, and have been successful in securing funding for the water quality problem. Now, the cost here are quite high. We know that they will be in the range of $2 million and possibly $2.5 million. That's based on the estimates that Mr. DeCesar has submitted to date. Now, those costs, of course, aren't hard and fast because you had to go to public tender in any such venture as this to determine what the actual cost will be. So, but we do know that's the range, anywhere in the $2 million range. I'd like to announce at this time that the provincial government and the federal government are prepared to deal with this water situation in Burgeo. And for this year, 2001 and 2002, we are committing $1 million of that necessary funding for the water quality problem. The balance required, whether it be $1 million or more, will be forthcoming in next year's provincial federal infrastructure program. In addition to the amounts that are being committed here, it's very important as to what the cost-sharing ratio is. For example, most times when provinces and municipalities and federal governments do jobs, the sharing is usually on a 50-50 basis. So the town would have to pick up half of that cost and the province and the feds would pick up the other. Or sometimes in infrastructure it's split 1/3, 1/3, and 1/3. But I'm pleased to announce as part of this package here that the funding is going to be on a 90-10 basis. In other words, the federal government and the province will be picking up 90% of the cost, so the citizens of Burgeo will only have to pay 10% towards this overall project. The commencement of this project, as I say, it's already commenced in the sense of we had the report from Mr. DeCesar. The officials in the Department of Municipal Affairs are going through this as we speak, so that we end up going to public tender. We intend to do this in a timely fashion. There's no good to announce it this year and wait another 2 years to do it. This is going ahead as we speak. The design and the tendering process will be upon us very shortly, and then of course is to get this thing on the ground as quickly as we can to get this project started this year. The other consideration, and that's probably one more that council will have to deal with, is the operational side of things. Because once the process is in place and the system is in place to give good quality drinking water in this community, there's operating costs associated with that new system. And that's further details, of course, that council and your engineers will be working on to make sure that not only do we have a good system and the best system that we can get, but that we have the cheapest operating system that we can get. Because if you end up with a system that's a super duper system, but it costs you an arm and a leg to operate, that's not the best system to have. So we want to make sure we have a cost efficient system from an operating point of view. In conclusion, I'd just like to say that the government is committed in this province, for anybody who's watched the media in the last 2 or 3 months, to solving the water quality problem. And this is a case here of putting your money where your mouth is. It's no good to identify the problem if you're not prepared to put the bucks in the communities to see that these problems are solved. And it's good to see that the province and the federal government have picked up the bulk of the responsibility here to do that. Every citizen in this province, regardless of if you live in Roddickton or you live in Bonavista or you live in Burgeo, deserve good quality drinking water. It is not only a priority, it is a necessity. And I'm pleased to see that we've been able, after many meetings and much arm twisting, and sometimes a lot of coaxing, being able to bring this thing to fruition. Because the people of Burgeo, like in any other community in this province, deserve good drinking water. And I'm pleased, Mayor, that we've been able to achieve this initiative in the short term. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Parsons. And on behalf of the Burgeo Town Council and the people of Burgeo, I certainly do express our thanks. I'm more than surprised and very pleased. Over the last few months, the citizens have heard me speaking about our water and our efforts to improve the quality. And I little thought, I must be quite honest, that it was in January that we sat in this same council chambers and held a meeting, and not really directly related to water. And it was then that we moved the water problem in Burgeo to be on the front burner of the things that the Burgeo Town Council was out to do. And I little thought then that in such short time that we would be announcing the calling of tenders for a good water quality system for Burgeo. So therefore, I really do want to thank Minister Parsons and Mr. Matthews and Oliver Langdon, who haven't played no small part in this either. And the water quality problem, as far as I'm concerned now, is taken care of. There's just one more problem, and that's the water usage problem. And the people of Burgeo's got a part to play there as well. When Minister Parsons was talking about the cost of operation, almost directly related to that is the water usage or abuse of water in our town. So during the summer months, it certainly would be nice if we could see some people starting to improve their lateral lines going into their house. And you know, it just doesn't make sense to have good quality water and run it down the sewer line. So today is a very happy day for the Burgeo Town Council. It's the best announcement that we've been had to make since we were elected. So therefore, I'm very happy today. This is almost on par to the time we came back and we had some credit for our fish plants. So we still got a couple of more months in office, and who knows, maybe we'll make a good announcement sometime on that also. Thank you. Thank you, Minister Parsons.
Thank you, Mayor.
Stay with us for Off the Rack, the community events, and the BBS Playbill, all after this.
Oh, mama, yo. Good evening and welcome to the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. I'm Jennifer Marks. The winners of the Virgil Lioness TV Bingo were Mad Pink and Irene Marsden. Congratulations to you both. The Wolfpack ball team will host the next TV Bingo on Wednesday, June 6th at 7 p.m. There will be one game for $300. Cards are $1 each or 6 for $5 and are available from any member of the ball team members and are in most stores around town. Please support the Wolfpack ball team and play TV Bingo, and you could be the next winner of $300. All kids can get ready for a splash of summertime excitement at Beach Trek Vacation Bible Experience in a fun-filled beach setting. You'll meet new friends, sing, play games, do crafts, enjoy snacks, and hear some really great stories from the Bible. The Beach Trek Vacation Bible Experience is happening at St. John the Evangelist this summer. There will be more details later. The LOL Lodge are selling tickets on 20 dozen beer. There will be 5 draws of 4 dozen. Tickets are $1 each or 3 for $2 and are available from any LOL member. The draw date is July 25th. The LOL are also planning a fish supper and Newfie dance on July 25th. There will be more details later. If your group or organization has an upcoming event planned, we'll be happy to advertise it for you. Just call the BBS office by Wednesdays of each week to have items included in this portion of our broadcast. That concludes the community event segment of tonight's broadcast. See you next week.
Before we end our broadcast this evening, we have to make a draw for the Teletoon t-shirt. And the winner is Eric Foote, 886-2229. Congratulations, Mr. Foote. BBS Playbill. Tune in on Tuesday for a rebroadcast of Pansy's Garden. Try your luck on Wednesday by playing Wolfpack Men's Ball Team TV Bingo. Tune in on Thursday when we will have a rebroadcast of The Bandwagon. Join Pansy and the gang for 2 stories of craft and lots of fun on Saturday morning at 11 a.m. on Pansy's Garden. Next Sunday at 6:30 p.m. we will have religious revelations from the United Church. And I'll be here again next week with This Week in Review. Please stay tuned now for The Bandwagon. For This Week in Review, I'm Marie Rose. Good night and God bless.